No one in Greyhaven ever swam in Blackwater Lake. It wasn't written anywhere. No signs, no fences, just an unspoken rule passed down like a warning disguised as tradition. You could fish there. You could sit near it. You could even throw stones into its surface and watch the ripples fade into the dark water. But you never looked into it for too long, and you never went near it at night. I learned why on the summer I turned 29, the summer my reflection showed me my own debt. Greyhaven was the kind of town people forgot existed. Tucked between endless pine forests and broken highways, it had one gas station, one diner, and more abandoned houses than occupied ones. I moved there after my mother died. She left me her old cabin, sitting less than half a mile from Blackwater Lake. The real estate agent hesitated when she handed me the keys. "You'll want to keep the curtains closed at night," she said. I laughed, thinking she was joking. She didn't smile back. The first night I heard the lake. Not waves, not animals. Breathing. Slow. Heavy. Wet. Like something massive was inhaling beneath the water and exhaling to the fall that rolled across the surface. I told myself it was just wind and slept with headphones on. The next morning, I met my neighbor, Elias More. He was in his 70s, face scarred by time and regret. He leaned on a cane and stared toward the trees behind my cabin. "You saw it yet?" he asked. "Saw what?" "The lake," he said. "Really saw it." I shook my head. "Good," Elias said. "Keep it that way." That should have been my warning. 3 days later, curiosity won. The trail to Blackwater Lake was narrow and overgrown, as if the forest itself was trying to reclaim it. The air grew colder the closer I got, and the sounds of birds vanished. When the trees finally opened, the lake waited, perfectly still. Its surface was black, not dark blue or murky green. Black, like oil, like a mirror polished by something that didn't want fingerprints. I stood at the edge, and the lake looked back. At first, I only saw my reflection. Then it changed. The sky behind me in the reflection darkened, even though the real sky was clear. My reflected body began to move, smiling while my real face stayed frozen. I stepped back, heart racing. The reflection raised its hand. I didn't. That night, I dreamed of drowning. Cold hands pulled me downward while something whispered my name from above the surface. I woke up coughing water that wasn't there. The next day, I confronted Elias. "You didn't tell me it shows things," I said. His grip tightened on his cane. "It shows truth," he replied. "Not the present, not the past." "The future," I whispered. Elias nodded. "Blackwater doesn't predict," he said. "It remembers what hasn't happened yet." He told me the story the town never wrote down. Decades ago, a group of miners discovered the lake while searching for silver. They camped beside it, drinking and laughing. One man looked into the water. He screamed. The next morning, he was found dead, his body positioned exactly as the lake had shown him the night before. Every death followed the same pattern. Car crashes, falls, hangings, drownings, always matching what the victim had seen in the reflection. "And if you don't look?" I asked. Elias met my eyes. "It still sees you." I tried to leave Greyhaven that same day. My car wouldn't start. The mechanic couldn't find anything wrong. Neither could the tow truck driver. That night, the breathing from the lake grew louder. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't stop thinking about a reflection smiling at me. So I went back. Fog clung to the ground like crawling fingers. The moonlight barely reached the lake's surface. I stood at the edge again. "Show me," I whispered. The lake obeyed. My reflection appeared, older, thinner, eyes hollow. The background was different this time. I was standing at the lake, at night, kneeling. My reflection looked terrified. Then hands emerged from beneath the surface, dozens of them, gripping my reflected legs, pulling me forward. The reflected version of me screamed silently as her body was dragged into the water. The surface closed. The image faded. I staggered back, wanting into the dirt. I didn't go near the lake again. Days passed, then weeks. I packed my things, determined to leave on foot if I had to. That's when Elias disappeared. His cabin door was open. Inside, everything was untouched, except his cane, lying at the edge of the lake. The sheriff ruled it an accident. Old man probably slipped, he said. But I knew better. I stayed awake every night after that, afraid that sleep would bring the lake closer, afraid that ignoring it would somehow make it angry. On the 7th night after Elias vanished, I heard knocking, 3 slow knocks on my cabin door. No one in Greyhaven visited after dark. I grabbed a flashlight and opened the door. Fog poured inside, and there, standing on my porch, was me, not a reflection, a perfect copy. "You saw it," she said. "Now it's time." I tried to slam the door. It wouldn't move. "The lake doesn't show if you die," she continued calmly. "It shows how." She stepped forward, and suddenly I was standing at the edge of Blackwater again. Night, moonlight, my knees buckled, hands burst from the surface. Cold, strong, familiar. They wrapped around my ankles, my wrists, my throat. I screamed. The lake inhaled. And then I woke up in my bed. Morning light streamed through the window. My clothes were dry, my body unmarked. I laughed. I cried. I packed my bags. The car started instantly. As I drove away, I glanced in the rearview mirror. For a moment, my reflection lagged behind, smiling. Months later, hikers found a body in Blackwater Lake. Female, late 20s, kneeling at the edge. No signs of struggle. They said she looked peaceful. They never identified her, because when they pulled her out of the water, there was no reflection